today's fast-paced and dynamically changing world, how can you use technology to transform your company into an adaptive and efficient organization? Filmetrics Corporation is your trusted technology partner that brings together biometrics, mobile systems, and data analytics to produce secure business solutions for all your work units anytime, anywhere. Established in 2009, we are a 100% Filipino-owned IT enterprise and part of a large group of companies specializing in construction, geodetic investigation, agriculture, engineering consulting, surveying and mapping, maritime transportation, and real estate. We are deployed in over 500 locations nationwide and provide reliable support for system users around the world. Filmetrics offers a comprehensive range of identity management that can be integrated with mobile devices and business analytics to create sound and effective systems for asset management, security, and productivity. Filmetrics develops specialized identity management solutions with the use of biometrics, security markings, and asset tracking. Integrating solutions to customized Android and iOS-compatible mobile applications, Filmetrics provides platforms that collect comprehensive, accurate, and real-time data to keep companies on track of its operations and performance anytime, anywhere. Anchored on identity management solutions, Filmetrics delivers business analytics tools that provide aggregate data visualization dashboards and reports to assist companies make information-driven strategies to fully optimize their business processes. Filmetrics Corporation has a diverse management team combined with rich experience in every major industry with projects spanning large-scale government IT and public infrastructure, international R&D, cloud-based solutions, process automation, production line automation, manpower management, and change management. It is through this desire for excellence that Filmetrics has been able to provide innovative solutions to private and government agencies. For almost 10 years, Filmetrics has built a track record with long-term customers, including the biggest Philippine pension and retirement fund, the country's postal service, and private sector managed infrastructure projects. With innovative strength, technological excellence, and a dedicated team, Filmetrics Corporation will build safe and secure digital bridges for everyone.
Yeah, and hi everyone, and welcome to Startup. My name is Jose Leonardo.
And I am Michelle Chavez. So we will be your moderator for today's webinar.
Yes, and again, this event is brought to you by Filmetrics Corporation, and today we will talk about vital business protocols that we can use or impart in our own business and even in our own office.
Yes, so COVID-19 pandemic is the ultimate catalyst for digital transformation and has greatly accelerated through several major technology trends. So Yuri, as we all know, COVID-19 pandemic will have a lasting effect not only on our economy, but on how we go about our daily lives. So while this pandemic has forced many businesses to reduce or suspend operations, it has helped to accelerate the development of several emerging technologies. So this is especially true for innovations that reduce human-to-human contact, second, automate processes, and also increase productivity amid social distancing.
Yes, I agree to that, Michelle. And also, we have also identified three components of business that were greatly affected by COVID-19 and what products have helped us to mitigate the spread of this virus in your workforce or even in your employees, customers, and even your own operations. Yes, but today again, we will talk about or we will focus about on addressing operational transformation because as we all know, businesses are the beating heart of the global economy and their economic contribution is big and they provide most of the employment nationwide and globally, including the Philippines. And these businesses will play a key role in propelling a sustainable and resilient economy moving forward. And this is exactly why we are here today, Michelle, because we need to move forward and we must keep our business running. And also, I would like to share that businesses must also adapt and transform to a digital platform that optimizes processes. And our featured product for today can also be a good upgrade in achieving this. So for today, Michelle, what do we have?
So for this webinar, we will be discussing the following. So first one is how to create sharp and professional invoices, manage recurring billings, and easily track payments.
Yes, oh, very nice topic.
Yes.
Also, we will discuss on how to save time and automate 95% of your reconciliation using our or using the smart reconciliation tool. Hmm.
Yes, and of course, how to control suppliers, invoices, and get a clear forecast of your future bills to pay.
Yes.
Yuri?
And lastly,
Mhm.
how to get your bank statement synced with your bank's automatically or import files. Yes. And also,
Yes.
I would like to share to everyone that we would like to hear from you and we would like to include you during the entire conversation. So you may ask your questions, share your comments, and even challenge our ideas, our panelists. And for those who would like to ask questions, again, you must be logged in with your social media accounts and you may use the comment section below to share at any time during this webinar. Again, we will try to address as many as we can within the time period that we have assigned for today. So,
So great,
Michelle?
Yuri. At this point, I would like to introduce our first featured speaker for today so we can get into our content. So, a certified public accountant and head of accounting department of Filmetrics Corporation, let me call on Miss Mirna Vergara.
Hi, Miss Mirna.
Hi,
Hello.
hi Miss
Thank you,
Mirna.
Yuri. Yes, I think every one of us is greatly affected by this sudden changes brought to us by this pandemic. And of course, finance and accounting is not exempted on that. Our
Mm-mm.
operations has been disrupted, no? And of course, we have to adjust in no time. Otherwise, we will be left behind. Your unpaid
Mm-mm.
suppliers, taxes, uncollected receivables, payroll, and the list goes on. But we have to address it with something like more on the proper right technology. So Yeah, actually, I have summarized for you on the following slides that I'll be sharing with you guys some major challenges and how we have addressed and what are the, of course, succeeding steps pa that we are going to still take. So, all
Mm.
right.
So I believe during this discussion, Miss Mirna, because actually Miss Mirna has mentioned earlier that a lot of businesses were widely affected by this pandemic, and of course, as what Miss Mirna has mentioned earlier, as an accountant as an accounting department head, a lot of business operations were widely affected. So now, what she'll be discussing and sharing with you guys to our viewers for today is how do you mitigate the impact and adapt to the new working setup during this pandemic? So now, Ms. Mirna, to discuss, the floor is yours.
All right. So, let me start with this. So, last week, actually, we have conducted our strategic planning for the year 2021. And our president have asked this one question: who led the digital transformation of your company? So actually, it was a slap of realization to me in my personal experience. Ude is actually one of our products already, and I was already asked by our GM to study and start the implementation. But of course, since we are used with our existing or current accounting system that we have, it was not one of my top priority until the ECQ was March 13. So start of ECQ, we were actually we were forced. We have no choice. We have to work from home. So I believe that manpower workforce is the top priority of each of the companies. But lucky are those employees whose nature of job can be done in work from home setup. This is where when we started exploring Udo accounting. So actually, the answer, it's not our president nor my COO or my GM who have forced the digital transformation into a much higher level. It was actually COVID-19. So para mas boss ko pala si COVID, no? So so these are the accounting challenges. At the start of the lockdown, of course, we have to tuloy-tuloy pa din ang accounting operations, accounting transactions. So I'll be sharing with you guys the accounting challenges that we have encountered and how Udo have actually and will still help us on this. So I know all accountants in this webinar can relate as we are now used from working from home, and one of the realizations is that work from home can be done pala, di ba? So as a head of the finance, I have to act fast and to adapt on this new normal setup. So one of our busiest as finance is the audit season. So until we have filed our annual ITR, which is due on April 15 normally. So this is
Mhm.
very timely for us. Upon lockdown last March and upon lifting of the ECQ, we crammed to get the audit document. So after the lockdown, we have to have it scanned and present it to the external auditors for the audit documents. So how Odoo will help us on this? Because due to its feature and that we can attach actually the documents inside Odoo. Like for
Mm.
example, we're processing disbursement voucher with all the document attachments. So in Odoo, you can attach the billing invoices, all the supporting computations, all the approved documents in Odoo. So it's like actually more on, parang it's just a control F. So alam niyo yan, mga shortcuts sa accounting. Control find and finding the document. So it's as easy as that. So, and actually, the external auditors have also adopted this new normal audit processing. So, hindi na sila nag-actual na pumunta dun sa audit site to get. They actually accepted yung mga scan documents. So, with Udo's help, we can actually present the documents through scan. So, it's so easy for us.
Mhm.
Another challenge actually is the request for payment routing for approval. So what we are doing before, we are doing manual routing via email. So and other manual process. So there are some actually available approval workflows, no, but I have never encountered a workflow or a system that is interlinked with our accounting system. So for most of all the transactions, so you need to use multiple systems on that or to do that based on my past experience with my previous companies. No? So how Odoo will help us on this? So yes, you can actually route requests for payment, including its attachment via its expense module, and you can do also follow-ups. So via Odoo, you can follow up your approver to approve your request. No? And in addition, it has a complete audit trail from raising the payment request up to the actual payment. So it's a complete audit trail. It's inside Odoo. So wala ka nang titingnan. Nandun na siya isang system. So it's very easy and convenient. So in terms of that. So moving on the next, another is e-invoicing. So this is the current challenge, actually for most of us, no, is that the manual routing of billing invoices, then returning it back to the proponent if there's an error, then we will repeat the process again and again. So pag may mali, balik ulit. So there's so much time and effort, but in processing in just one bill. So ang equivalent yan sa mga accountants, I know everybody will relate. In finance, it's money. Time is equivalent to money, diba? So if you fail to process it on time, equivalent penalties or interest. So this is where actually Odoo is very helpful for us. You can route billing invoices for approval, and you can send it or route it via email. So you can also do collection follow-up. So nakalink yung email, ng email of the third party with Odoo. So you can do collection follow-ups via Odoo, and then added points pa is that there is a collection trail. So you will know how many times you have already follow up this certain customers. So that's for actually for in e-invoicing. So another accounting challenge is that in terms of the manual vendor bill. So we actually need in processing sa accounting, we actually need the manual vendor billing. So then we need to encode it to the system. So, but since of the lockdown, we need the limited, we have a limited access lang sa office since we are on a work from home setup. So this is a little difficult for us to adjust, no? So of course, it also involved time. But thanks to Odoo, the proponent can submit actually digitized vendor bills. With the help of the optimal character recognition or OCR, Odoo can just pick the data from the vendor invoices to create payment vouchers in the Odoo accounting. So that's it's keeping on the manual encoding. So you can now just focus the accountants or the payable processor and just focus on the checking of the actual bills versus the one picked up by the OCR. So that's for the manual vendor bills, no. So I'll move on to the next. I think, yeah. So this one is, I think, hello, kaway-kaway sa mga fellow accountants. I know everyone can relate to this. Yes. So may mga hugot to. So during the lockdown, alam ko makaka-relate kayo. On the first week pa lang of lockdown, the executives have called us, no, to report on the budget achievements, the variances. So because we will also task to revise the budget and reforecast, then mandate us to strictly monitor yung mga spendings. So this is expected kasi because of the lockdown, our operations has slowed down. Actually, for some businesses, the actual revenue operations have stopped talaga during the pandemic, especially during the ACQ. So we have to counter it with expense reductions. So we have tight cash flows then, unable to collect our receivables. So upper managements are very aggressive, demanding from us. So if you're not ready or the system doesn't have, cannot help you on this, it will be difficult for us na mga accountants. No? So mga sleepless nights ulit natin. So how would you have helped us on this? Actually, aside from the matter budget, no? So most of the accounting systems have this. At this level, you can set up the matter budget. What's good in Odoo is that on based on our on our actual scenario is that you can also set up budget specific. So be it a project or a departmental, a segment, or a marketing activity. For example, a marketing budget, you can further broken it down into much smaller scale. Like if you want to just monitor lang for the how much is marketing ads. And then
Mhm.
another good thing is that in when there's new transactions posted in Odoo, this reflects automatically. So you have when your executive will ask you how much is the budget achievement for this certain project, you can just have few clicks lang from Odoo and there you go, you have this report. So unlike if you don't have this kind of system, no, or it's only just a mother budget. So what we usually do
Mhm.
is that parang we have to dig down pa, transfer it to Excel, then uh, to scrutinize pa each accounts. So this is different kay Udo. This is specific. So pwede kang gumawa as pinaka smallest level ng budget na pwede mo like kunwari HR budget for supply. So something like that. So this is very good. There's a real-time update in terms of your actual budget, actual spendings versus your budget.
Mhm.
Then I think so. Let's move on to the next. There. So reporting, forecasting. So I know most of us here will agree that even our current accounting system provides financial reports. So yes, meron naman yung mga may gamit na accounting system. That there are financial reports which we have defined naman at the very beginning of the start of the using the accounting system. But there are still lots of reports that we accountants are
Mhm.
doing via Excel. Yeah. So
Mm.
si Excel is our best friend, sabi nga nila. So depending on the user of that report. So bakit? So actually, so depende sa boss, no? Meron, pagdating kay chairman, ganito lang yung high level dapat. So you have to adopt your kind of reports na 80%. So sometimes on a cash basis lang. Sometimes it's more on a accrual basis lang. So different din para kay president. Different din yung format para kay GM.
Yeah.
Different din yung para kay operations manager. Then, of course, for BIR, may certain prescribed format din for BIR.
Report. Yes.
Yes, and for the external auditor as well. So these different versions every time there's a new transactions, you need to update. You need to link it again, mag-re-download na naman, kailangan updated yung data. So sometimes natatagalan tayo mag-provide ng reports to the stakeholders. Minsan nagtataka sila, boss, bakit ang tagal-tagal nandiyan naman yan sa system? They don't know actually what we're going through, di ba? So hashtag Ubos sa mga accountants. So the good thing in Odoo actually is there's an Odoo spreadsheet. It's like an Excel inside the Odoo. So you create and you format inside Odoo. Then every time na may new transactions, it is automatically update. It is automatically updated. No? So goodbye sa pag-download ulit, mag-re-download ka na naman ng from the old system papunta dun sa Excel mo. So yung Excel na format mo is nandun na siya. So, any kind na format mo inside the Odoo, it will just automatically updated. So, yun yung mga pings namin ng mga accountants, no? So, every time na may hininging report, so, iba-iba yung format, um, iba-ibang period. So, it's really helpful that there's an Odoo spreadsheet. It's like an Excel inside the system. So, hindi mo na kailangang ulit-ulitin yung paggawa. So yeah, I think for reporting and forecasting. So I think okay. So my last is that it's more on employee productivity. Diba? So I believe that accounting is not just recording, but it's more on the reporting and analyzing the records. That is the purpose of accounting is to provide useful information to help the stakeholders arrive on a sound management decision. So, yan yung basic definition of accounting sa mga
Mm.
accountants dyan, right? So, but what actually happens sa ating mga accountants? We do lot of tabulations in Excel. We do lots of linking, we do lot of formulas. So we run out of time analyzing and interpreting the numbers because marami tayong mga manuals or marami tayong mga kailangan pang gawin outside the system. So we end up exhausted and parang we run out of time to interpret the numbers or the financial reports. So which causes also dissatisfaction. So finding a system that will do for all these tabulations and all um, will help us get that the most tuned ng mga accountants.
Mm.
The 8 hours of sleep. Yan. So, alam ko relate yung lahat ng mga accounting na nag-observe sa webinar niya.
Nanonood. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, yun. So, meron nga kami sinasabi, get a life, diba? So, para magkaroon naman kayo ulit, lalo yung mga single, para magkaroon naman kayo ng partners. So, there's more. So, we need a system that's something that would help us.
Yes.
So, yes. So, I think those are some key points lang. Of course, there are lots of challenges in accounting. But these are some challenges that I want to share and how actually Odoo will help us. So we need do automations.
Alright.
All
So I
right.
think yung sinasabi ni Miss Mirna for this afternoon is actually with Odoo accounting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Mirna, but my takeaway on your discussion is that in Odoo accounting, you can actually do more in less time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
instead of focusing
perfect
instead of
tagline.
focusing into one report, well, in fact, you can actually automate all the reports that you have, all the systems that you have, so that it's just every report that you have is just one click away. With Odoo
Yeah,
accounting, you can do that.
true, true. Correct.
Good,
So yun
good
talaga
job.
yung mahirap sa accounting.
Yes,
Ang dami
and
ng tinatabulate. So pwede naman pala, meron palang something that could help
there is.
us.
Yes, yes. And isa sa tumatak din sa akin, Miss Mirna, is that you mentioned that time is actually equivalent to money. It involves interest. Yun yung tumatak sa akin. Why? Because yes, if you're actually late into something, reports, and even manual filing or filing about taxes, actually more on expenditures, filing your BAR, I believe it includes money as well and it includes interest.
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
availability of reports is actually pertinent to all businesses for improvement.
Correct, correct. You got it, Yuri.
All right. So I believe I'll call my partner, Michelle. So I believe thank you, Miss Mirna. We've learned a lot from you during that discussion. We will know more about tips from our certified public accountant. We will call her up again later on towards the end of this webinar. So Michelle, what's next?
Thank you, Yuri. No? So again, to know more about the latest technologies that you and your company can upgrade, let's have our next featured speaker, a solutions expert from Odoo. So let's call on Mr. John Francis Reyes.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Francis Reyes. Any words po sa viewers natin today?
Well, I hope they enjoyed the previous discussion and I believe they can relate too. So just stay in this webinar and see what Odoo can offer to their company or to their profession.
Perfect.
Okay.
As what Miss Mirna mentioned earlier, we will talk more about how do you have solutions regarding your manual routing in
Yeah.
e-invoicing collection, manual vendor bills, real-time budget, reforecasting, reporting, and automations? To know more about that solutions or the solutions to those problems, let's hear from our expert, Mr. John Francis Reyes, to discuss more about Odoo accounting. So the floor is yours, Mr. Reyes.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Mr. Leonardo. So again, I'm Francis Reyes, and I'll be the one who will show you on how Odoo can help you make things faster and better in your accounting process. But before we start, I'd like to know your thoughts about the previous discussion and encourage you to go to menti.com as shown above my presentation, and using your mobile phone or device that you're currently using, enter the code that is displayed above the screen. So it's a multiple type of question, but there's no right or wrong answer. It's only two questions, and to answer the questions, I'll be giving you a 15 seconds. So be ready. All right. So I believe majority of you are already uh, into this page. So the first question is, which area of accounting you have the most challenging experience? So there's more of the answers from document management, budget monitoring. Wow. So let me thank you first for those who participate in these questions. So it tells us that we know the current state of our accounting process and even the challenges we are now facing, especially when we are forced to adjust because of the current situation. But of course, we are not limited to these challenges. I know there's a lot. So later we will discuss further on how we can deal with it. So here's the next question. How did you manage your accounting process during the pandemic? All right. So thank you again for those who participated. So the highest score from this question is online but still doing manual work. So maybe some of you are just shy but really wanted to participate. That's okay. So talking about managing our accounting process might be happen in different scenario. Like some are work from home setup or some might be working in skeletal setup. But yes, doing manual works could be tedious task for the accountants. So to move forward, let me show you my presentation.
All right. So I believe, again, to our viewers out there, for those who would like to share your comments, share your thoughts, and if you want to challenge the ideas of our panelists for this afternoon, you may use the comment section below and feel free to raise your question, and then we will try to address as many as we can during the end of this webinar. So again, thank you for participating. Mr. Reyes, back to you.
All right. So here we are. Startup accounting done right. I believe some of you are operating well and seems no problem with regards to accounting process. But have you ever thought about or asking yourself, are we still doing the right thing? Are we efficient enough in our current process? So this is the typical setup in a day-to-day accounting process. Other department would do the negotiation with their clients, get some sales, and prepare an invoice which will require an approval from the higher management. Once approved, the copy of invoice should be provided to accounting department for encoding, either manually or automatically, while preparing a purchase order. Then all the records must be placed to general ledger, and then by the end of the month, for every quarter or year end must be consolidated for reporting and analyzing the cash flows, both in and outs, so that company could set a forecast for the next calendar year. But here are some challenges that has been mentioned by Ms. Erna in her presentation a while ago. So first, um, audit documents, inavailability of documents for auditing the check and balance, since majority of us are in a new work setup, either work from home or skeletal. And the second one is request for payments and routing approval. So for some, we have to have a messenger to go to our clients and request for their payments. But in this case, during the pandemic, I believe all the companies has a restriction, so they don't allow outsiders to enter in their premises. And for the documents or invoices that need signature for approval, would take time before it gets approved. Kasi you have to hire a rider first to send the documents for approval to the higher management to get their signatures. Manual coding of invoicing, not just for invoices, but in all types of encoding, could be prone to error. Common errors are entering information into incorrect accounts, transposing figures, or coding information backwards. Real-time budget monitoring. For the last quarter last year, we already set a budget. So I believe a majority of the accountants from this webinar could relate. So we already set a budget, and then pandemic comes in, then things change. So we have to realign our budget. And the sad part of this is we can't monitor real time the budget. Sometimes we are shocked that the actual expenses exceeds the set budget. So let me introduce you a solution that could be your partner in your accounting journey. Okay. Talking about these challenges, of course, we need a solution. So let me introduce to you Odoo. Odoo have various management software that can help you maximize your business potentials from sales process, operations per se, cash flow management, and for more than a decade, many businesses have been supported by the solutions provided by Odoo, both small businesses and large corporations worldwide. But today, we will just focus on accounting applications. And to manage your expectations, here are some pointers of our discussion. So, um, we will be talking about documents, invoicing, budgeting, monitoring, reporting, forecasting, as mentioned a while ago by Mr. Yuri. So for document management, all your documents will be integrated and centralized in one location. More than this, approval controls, validation processes are all gathered in the same place and help us make sure everything gets done by the right person at the right time. AI-powered invoice automation. With Odoo, you get the power of best AI algorithm working hand in hand with humans. Your scanned documents are converted with an optical character recognition engine before being processed by the AI. With that, you can say no to manual bills processing. Sige ba yun? You may ask yourself, why should I process my vendor or supplier's bills manually when Odoo can do it automatically? Okay. I think all right. So real-time budget monitoring. The applications allows accountant to manage analytics and crossover budgets. Once budgets are defined, the project managers can set the plan amount on each analytic account. So you can set a budget for a specific department or companies if you are managing companies. If you're managing multiple companies. So the accountant has the possibility to set the total amount planned for each budget in order to ensure the total plan is not greater or lower than what he planned for his budget. Determination if about the accountant that has been shocked because the budget set is already exceeded compared dun sa expenses. So especially right now, no, to set a budget is very in demand with the upper management, as mentioned earlier by Ms. Vilna. So the last part is the reporting and forecasting. Executives are very demanding from finance, especially in terms of financial forecasts, as there are a lot of uncertainties brought by this pandemic. So different departments or users has different type of reporting and forecasting. Consolidating in one place is a challenge, especially you as accountant who consolidate cash flow reports. It's very hassle to import and export continuously the data provided to us. That's why Odoo created a built-in spreadsheets where you can easily get the reports within the applications that is shared by other departments or user. So right now, we will be having the actual demo.
All right. So I believe in this part, correct me if I'm wrong, Franz. At this part, we will have a quick tour on how does it look like inside Odoo accounting module, or with how do you use and how do you navigate through or inside Odoo Accounting as a
Yeah.
system. Am I right? All right. So I
Yes.
believe France is now ready. France?
Okay. So before we start, let me show you what's inside the Odoo system or Odoo database. So for my presentation, we'll be using different modules. We have documents for all the documents related tasks, inventory for product encoding, accounting, and also if you believe you have another modules or you need another modules, Odoo offers a lot of modules within their database. So you can also install. Can be it's very easy. You just have to install and integrate with the other applications. Then you can work on it as is one application. So we have for sales, manufacturing, even HRs are covered for this expense monitoring, employee referral, attendance, even recruitments. So now let's start with Odoo document management. So, all right, so let's open the file. Document applications work with two concepts, workspace. Uh, all right, so kita natin dito sa my left side and also the tags. So this workspace are named by the department. So we can also replace it if you are managing multinational companies or multiple companies. You can replace it by company's name. Also, the tags here available for each workspace. So for finance, you'll see that there's a validation, bills, expense, but finance, and even contracts, you can also upload it here. So the good thing about document management, it can be accessed using the mobile applications of Odoo. So if your boss, your manager, or the executives wants to check the information or the data of the document, they can access it anytime, anywhere. So they just have to access the system using their mobile application or maybe using their laptop or devices through the web browser. So we can also upload or we can also create a spreadsheets here. So if you want to set a budget, so let's say we want to create a budget quarterly, we can do in document management. Also sales commission, we can create a sales commission. Then once created, we can ask for approval from the approvers. So let's say the accounting managers. So here's the list or samples of the documents. From these documents, you can tag this to the right contacts. Let's say specific company. You can also add tags on what. So you can see here that we can move this documents like this documents needs to be validated or already validated, or we want to create a bill from this document. So let's say we want to validate this information. And aside from that, the good thing about this is once you check the folder, the other person can directly message from this document if they think they want to, there's some information that needs to be changed, so they can directly comment here. Let's say, all right, something like that. All right, so that's for document management. So we can configure it and we can link this to other available applications of Odoo. So now let's move to invoicing. So how we can automate the invoicing. But before that, let me show you the whole accounting module. So here's the initial dashboard. So in this dashboard, you can see the customer's invoices. So makita natin dito yung mga unpaid invoices. You can also see here the vendor bills, miscellaneous operations bank. So we can also sync this accounting module to the bank that we have. And also we can set a chart of accounts if you have a different chart of accounts and do to monitor all the cash transactions. So let's check the configuration. So let's go to settings. For these settings, pwede mo i-adjust lahat. From the taxation, let's say you have a different tax application in your company, you can also set here the sales tax and the purchase tax. Also, we can also apply here the different currencies. So from this demonstration, I'll be using Philippine peso, but also you can also access this multi-currencies if you're operating in a multinational setup. So for customers payment, so we can do the invoicing online, so it's less hassle for us. And vendor bills, it's digitalized. All bills are automatically, so it's powered by OCR, or optical character recognition, or the artificial intelligence. And for the banks, we can also integrate all the informations here. Fiscal periods, you can set, and analytics, that's the most important part, because as mentioned earlier by Miss Myrna, we can set a budget, we can create, we can link to specific project, the expenses or the revenues that has been generated over the sales. So makita natin later how it works. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard and let's try to create some invoice. For this part, I'll try to create an invoice for BCD Corporation. So the invoice date, actually today. So we can also set this payments, the terms of payments. So let's say for this corporation, it can give the 21 days to pay this invoice. All right, so we can add product here. So earlier, a while ago, I show you the inventory module. So dito natin makita how it applies. So I put some products there. So makita natin dito informations ng product. So once created the product, then quantity, we can see here the prices and also the tax that has been less to the selling price. So makita natin dito that there's 12% tax deducted to the selling price. We can also create an analytic tags. So kung kanino bang company or na papasok yung kita ng Lenovo laptop from the Lenovo laptop sales. So let's say it will goes to ABC Corporation. And the good thing about this, once you're done creating the invoice, it will automatically create a journal entry. So this will be linked automatically to general ledger. So less hassle for you to create bills, then retype or re-encode the entries for you to be able to have a record in your journal entries or general ledger. So let's try to save this. Then confirm. So once confirmed, you can also cancel the entry if you want. So for this specific invoice, for this specific invoice, there's a format already or templated email. So pwede mo siyang i-edit if you want to. And but in this presentation, gagamitin natin siya as is. So we can also uncheck this print, so para less paper, because we wanted to become paperless company. Then send the copy to the right person. So once sent, we can check the documents here at the documents application. Let's say this is the documents that we created from this invoice, because before we send this to, let's say, to client, we wanted to make sure that all things are confirmed by higher management. So we can assign this here or to ask for validation, or if this is done already, we can create a bill directly. So once we create a bill, all right, so makikita natin wala pang informations, no? Then let's see how artificial intelligence works with this software. So once we refresh, all right, so information for the sales are already recorded here. Though there's a missing part of this, so the vendor. So we can just simply manually encode the vendor's name, and we can also see the audit trails of this transaction. So right, we can confirm this. All right, so I forgot to add the vendor. All right. Okay. So let's just wait for a couple of seconds. All right, so the bills is already created. Later, we will check in the reporting how it will reflect. Okay, let's now move on to vendor bill. So let's go back to accounting module. So we can upload the vendor bill here. Let's say we have a sample vendor bill. Uh, okay, so you can do it manually, or you can just simply upload the bills from your co-supplier. Then automatically the system will read the informations. Simply lang. So less hassle for you, less encoding. But of course, you have to check to make sure that all things are right. So once we refresh here, so all information will reflect, even the vendors. It means that this vendors is already registered in my software. So that's why it's easy to input all the informations from here. We can also check the actual bills that we have registered or we have uploaded to match if the data that has been created is correct. And same thing with customers invoicing, it will create automatically a journal entry. So sobrang dali lang, it's less hassle for you to encode multiple times. So yeah. So that's for invoicing, invoice automation. So let's now move to um, real-time budget monitoring. Of course, we have to set a budget first. Let's go back to budget and create a budget for a specific department, for a specific use. So let's say marketing tools, or let's say software. So we can add the line here, which department, let's say marketing budget. We can assign this to, let's say you have add analytics for this specific transaction. We can also set the date kung kailan siya mag-start i-consume yung budget. So let's say this budget will cover from December 2 to let's say 1 quarter, no, February 28. And we can input an amount here. All right. And then let's confirm the transaction. So I forgot to add the period. All right. So let's confirm. So let's see how it will reflect to the reports. So let's go back. Let's go to budget analysis. So makita natin dito lahat ng inalat natin na budget for each transactions or for each activity. So in our case, there's a marketing tools budget, marketing budget. So we set 100,000. So once na ginamit ni account ni marketing yung budget ito, automatically it will reflect here. Makikita natin kung magkano na yung remaining, and makikita natin dito yung magkano yung actual expenditure sila. So it's real time, madali na lang i-monitor, and you can also notify the specific department na, hey, malapit ka na mag-exceed, you already reached the threshold of your budget. So that's good about this accounting module. And lastly, let's go to reporting. So for the reporting, I mentioned a while ago about this analytics. So we can set or we can search specific tags or company. Let's say we have two companies here, the ABC Corporation. Makita natin dito yung movements, yung cash flow nila, yung in and outs nila. We can also print these reports in Excel format, then upload to the document, and to be able to provide a copy for the executive levels. Or so for ABC, that's the report, and for let's say for BBB Corporation, so ito, nakita natin siya. Same thing with other reportings, similar lang siya. So now let's go back, let's go to forecasting. Okay. So from this budget analysis, no, we can also check this. We can set a forecast. So let's just wait for a few seconds to load this. Okay, so here, as mentioned earlier, we have inbuilt spreadsheets. So we can insert the spreadsheets here. If you have templates, you can upload it here, or you can just simply use the available templates here. Okay. So for this project, we can see all the movements, and we can also add links. We can also add columns here for you to be able to change the format, and automatically the system will adapt the configurations that you have done. Okay, so that's very basic for the forecasting. So okay, so first we cover the document management. The second one is invoicing. The third one is budget monitoring and real-time reporting. And the last one is the forecasting and checking the reports and with different companies or different projects. Actually, the analytic tools is very good, especially for construction, because they have different projects. Or in your company, if you have different projects, you can set projects there. Consider all the link nyo lahat ng expenses, even your income for the specific project. Okay, so since we have limited time, we have prepared a short clip for you to know more about accounting. So let's watch this video. All right. So in summary, we talk about the challenges and Odoo as a solution. So for the challenges, we talk about the manual routing of billings invoices for approval, and manual encoding of vendors invoices, manual matching of invoice, delivery receipts, and purchase order, and how these manual processes become a tedious task to collect reports and data from different departments. So Odoo as a solution, it has one place or one location, approval controls, validations, process that all guarded in the same place. And Odoo is linked to the email of your approvers, so mas madali na lang approval process, collection follow-ups for your client. It also as a reminder as well. So availability of audit documents for external auditors. So digitalized and centralized automated invoice module. We also have a budget monitoring that becomes easier because all the data needed are in one place. And the last one is the analytic tags that we can specify the revenue expense per department or per company or even per project. So to know more about Odoo, it's a cloud-based solution. Kaya pwede mo siyang i-access anytime, anywhere. And yes, it has a mobile application and it's subscription-based. And it offers a trial version with full access to system. So if you want to have an access for this system, just message us in our page and we will give you an access directly. You don't have to pay for it. We will just give you a free trial version. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. So now I'm giving back the floor to our host. Thank you.
All right. So I believe thank you, Franz, for that fruitful discussion about Odoo accounting. Actually, it reminds me of college. Way back in college, just to share, I'm also an accounting student for 2 years. And it brings me back dun sa mga times na sumasakit yung ulo ko doing manual ledger, manual computations using manual papers that I have. Yeah, it's best to have these platforms or these systems that is actually automated, can be automated with one another. And I believe with this Odoo accounting, you can actually do more in less time. So now let's call on again our first speaker for this webinar, Miss Mirna, to join us for today's discussion. Hi, Miss Mirna. Welcome back.
And
Yeah, because actually a lot of our viewers has asked they actually asked that question through our platforms in our social media accounts, which is Facebook and YouTube accounts, and they actually raised some questions that needs to be addressed. So for our first question, okay, why do companies need to improve on their or have their own accounting system? So, Miss Mirna, any thoughts?
Well, siguro in just one sentence, no, sasagutin ko siya, it will make our life easier. So, especially for accountants, ha. So, imagine, you mentioned niya kanina, no,
Yes.
na you remember writing in the columnar. So,
Yeah,
imagine mo, if that's how we record, how we do things, and all manual. So, documents filed up, nagsusulat tayo without a proper accounting system. So, how can you make a financial statements? Different kind of reports, BIR related, reporting requirements, and the list go on pa. So if you have an accounting system, it's all in there, and just some few clicks, and voila, there's the financial reports that your management needed from you.
hmm I believe Franz is also can also relate to that because I believe Franz, an expert, is also a financial graduate. Franz, am I right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
So I believe those columnars, those trial balances, those
Yes,
sheets that we're actually using way back in college, you can actually relate, correct?
yes, yes.
All
Well,
right. How
to
about your
add
thoughts?
more about this questions, no? Well, if there's a tool that could automate their manual process, they should adopt it. So they could do more stuff that is valuable to them in a day-to-day operations. Especially by the end of the month, no? When we're about to close the books, it's very challenging. We have to
Mhm.
consolidate all the reports. Um, Anything that needs to be reconciled must be reconciled. So that's why by the end of the month, mas maraming nag-overtime ng mga accountants compared sa mga regular na employees in other departments. So minsan, the bad news for the OT, sometimes it's OTY. So that's why by, by this automation or by adopting a solution, it's very good for the accountant to have a one in place.
All right. So I believe everything is answered now with our first question. There's also a question, Michelle. Actually, you can read this one. It's actually from our YouTube account. One of our viewer actually mentioned. Michelle, do the honor.
Okay, for what are the actual benefits from switching and upgrading workflows to a digital platform?
There.
Okay,
Miss
so let me answer that
Mirna or
question.
okay, okay, Sir Francis.
Of course, they will become more efficient because the shift in digital platform will reduce their repetitive tasks. So they can focus on maximizing their revenues and optimizing their expenses before everything done because everything done is real time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to add up on that, no, so for us accountants kasi, it's really important for us yung audit trail. So if you have the workflows, it's really a great help for us. So, and plus how much more if this workflow is integrated in just one system. So sometimes kasi there are different system, meron yung system, but we are using different systems. So it's not integrated or it's not within one system. So this is the one factor that I found Odoo very helpful for us
Yes.
accountants. So it's really in just one system.
Mm.
Yes. Better to
Actually,
integrate other solutions,
mhm.
other systems available
Actually,
from
that's a good. I agree with Miss Mirna and Franz earlier that you mentioned that is actually integratable with other solutions because actually I've seen Odoo as a system, as a solution itself, and it's not just accounting that it's needed per department. Like sometimes you'll be needing documents because you have certain documents that you need to address or you need to do check. Part of it is also managing your employees or the employees under your department as a department head. I believe that's one thing that you need to monitor as well. And aside from that, a lot is we need to reconsider on checking a lot of things in our department, specific department. And with Odoo, you can actually do that and actually integrate those systems that you need into one system, into one
yes,
access. So I
yes.
believe it's answered. So next question. All
So
right, Michelle.
for the next question,
Here,
so
here.
what are the benefits of automated accounting systems moving forward? Miss Mirna, any thoughts?
Okay. I don't think it's medyo similar than the first question, no? But in addition to what I've mentioned a while ago, if you have a system kasi in place, there will be continuity of records. So, of course, hindi naman employees come and go eh. So we have to
Mm-mm.
retain the records of the company. So it's really good that we have an automated accounting system. So, yun nga, hindi naman forever yung mga empleyado pwedeng mag-resign. So, but if we have this accounting system in place, there's a continuity of records. So, business
Um,
continuity as a whole.
okay. So Franz, any thoughts on the question?
All right. So basically, you can do more in less time. So that's all about automation, maximizing your time, doing the valuable things or non-repetitive things in your accounting procedures.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I believe there's a follow-up question from YouTube. The one who actually raised a question earlier. He actually asked, but I believe it's answered. But it's nice to also address this question. Again, I think this will somehow be the summary of the advantages of having Odoo accounting as their system. So now the question is, what are actually the advantages of having Odoo accounting compared to other providers. So from an expert and from the CPA point of view, what are the advantages?
Okay, I'll take that question. There are lots of accounting system available in the market. So
Mhm.
actually, I've used from the previous companies, I think five, and two of which is the top accounting systems. But
Mhm.
but in Udo particularly, on my opinion, it's an accounting system that is built by accounting experts and not by IT personnel. It's the
Mhm.
only system so far that it's more sensitive on the needs of us accountants. Ito lang yating system na hindi sobrang kinailangan si IT ng bongga. Parang I have implemented in my past companies other systems. So yung other system kasi feeling mo yung genre is more on IT people. So this Udo accounting, it's more on friendly to accountants. So it's really very easy to use for us.
Mhm.
So yun.
All right. So that's our point of view coming from our CPA. How about from the expert? Our expert here, Mr. Francis Reyes. Any thoughts? Anything in mind?
Okay. So the plus factor of Odoo is it has a mobile application. So you don't have to bring your laptops anytime. You just have to access the Odoo on your mobile phone, do the transactions, check all the balances, and that's it. So Odoo offers more than ever. If they have an existing accounting system, as I mentioned earlier, it can be integrated to their system, the Odoo applications. So especially if there is see something Odoo that is missing in their current system, so na nakita nila kay Odoo, pwede nilang i-adopt. That's very
Oh,
easy.
okay. So I believe any questions coming from our to our panelists before we say our last few words, our wrap up, our takeaways. All right, so I believe that's all for today. My only takeaway is that I believe that for businesses that already have a system in place to complete their work, I believe switching and upgrading workflows to a digital platform is really the best key solution. So you need to keep on upgrading the systems that you have. And today's discussion is an all-time saving tools that you need to grow your business. And with this, you can actually get paid faster by having an electronic invoicing and automated follow-ups, like what Miss Mirna has mentioned earlier. And you can actually have or create a clear dynamic statements using your reports the way you like to see them. Of course, at the end of the day, we want our reports to actually or the numbers for us to have the best report that we want to express ourselves or the numbers that we actually generated. So with this platform, we can do that. Michelle?
Yes, I agree with you, Yuri. No? So, Odoo is a suite of business management software tools, including CRM, e-commerce, billing, accounting, manufacturing, even warehouse, project management, and inventory management, to name a few. So, it has a community version and an enterprise version that includes proprietary extra features and services. Yuri?
Yes. Thank you for that, Michelle. Also, we would like all this everyone to because a lot of you might be asking if you're looking for the right partner or right digital partner. Filmetrics Corporation is actually 100% Filipino-owned company that is actually based in Quezon City, and that is actually the Filipino partner of Odoo here in the Philippines. So if you want to know more about Filmetrics Corporation, about our products, you can visit our website. That's www.filmetrics.com.ph, or you may visit our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/Filmetrics Corporation. All right. So to wrap it up, any final words from our panelists? Let's start with Sir Reyes, our expert.
Okay. So Miss Michelle mentioned the free trial. So just wanted to emphasize it. If you want to try Odoo applications, you can use it freely. We will guide you to navigate the system. There's also an available e-learning tool online that you can use to fully understand the system. So just comment on our page and we will assist you to have a free trial of this solution.
Miss
Um,
Mirna, any final words po?
Well, I really hope that we have given more justice on how Odoo will help us in finance and to the whole company as well. No? Accountants like us are not really good in explaining things like this actually. So the topics that I have shared are only portion or certain highlights. It's more on the accounting side that have helped us in adjusting to the new normal. But there are more in Odoo actually. So it is a complete business management software. So yeah, as discussed by Yuri, Mitch, and friends. Thank
all
you.
right. Thank you for that, Miss Mirna. And also, Michelle, I believe Michelle is actually willing to share good news coming
Yes.
from Filmetrics
Mm-mm.
Corporation. Michelle?
Yes.
Yes, I'm encouraging everyone to automate your health declaration form. So we all know that safety is every company's priority, especially in this pandemic. So Filmetrics Corporation would like to introduce EasyPass. So EasyPass is an application so to help Filipino businesses to simplify their health and safety protocols. So here you can view your customer visit history, and of course, no more filing of forms and go touchless with QR code entry. And get your to register, you just have to click the link in the comment section for the free trial of EasyPass.
All right. And also, you can get your free access and all of our products. You can actually see those in www.filmetrics.com.ph. Again, we would like to thank everyone. And we would like to thank our featured speakers for today's webinar. And we will talk more about its modules and possible upgrades on our next episode in Startup. So that is all the time that we have for today's webinar. Please look for our follow-up email that will alert you on the demand status of today's event so that you can review all the materials that you've missed or you may use it as a future reference. On
Correct.
behalf of Netflix Corporation, this is Jose Leonardo.
And I am Michelle Chavez. Thank you for joining us today and taking time to view our presentation.
Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.